Welcome back to the deep dive. The source material you sent in this week is truly fascinating. It connects two worlds that, well, at first glance, seem worlds apart. The intricate artistry of high watchmaking and the, audacious spirit of early aviation.
It really is remarkable.
They brought us some incredible insights about a brand celebrating a huge milestone, and we're going to uncover why their newest releases are just so much more than, well, than just timepieces.
Yeah, what really stands out in these sources is how a brand can weave together these historical legacies with really cutting-edge craftsmanship. We're going to see how one of the industry's most important names is honoring its past, specifically maybe a lesser-known but equally groundbreaking side of its family history.
Right. So our mission for this deep dive is to really distill the essence of Breguet's 250th anniversary. We're focusing on their newest Type XX Chronograph 2075 watches. We'll explore the rich history that inspired them, those surprising family connections, and, what makes these particular watches so special. Especially for you, the discerning learner who loves connecting the dots. So let's really unpack what these sources tell us. Let's do it. Okay, first things first, let's set the stage a bit. Breguet is celebrating its 250th anniversary this year. I mean, a quarter millennium.
It's incredible.
That takes us all the way back to 1775. That's when the legendary Abraham Louis Breguet first registered his company.
Indeed. And Abraham Louis Breguet, he's widely regarded as, well, the ultimate pioneer of modern horology, responsible for huge innovations like the tourbillon, the Breguet overcoil, just foundational stuff.
Absolutely.
And for this monumental milestone, Breguet has released several special edition watches. They're all crafted in their signature 18K Breguet Gold alloy.
And, you might already be familiar with some of the earlier pieces they unveiled this year, like the classic Subscription 2025.
Right, the tribute to the Subscription pocket watches?
Exactly. Beautiful piece. Or the Tradition Second Retrograde 70335, celebrating the automatic watch. But the material you shared with us today, it reveals this really fascinating, almost hidden parallel legacy, one that soared, far beyond the watchmaker's bench.
Their surprising connection to aviation?
Precisely.
Which immediately raises an important question, doesn't it? How does a brand renowned for these exquisite, intricate timepieces get so deeply intertwined with aviation?
Yeah, how does that happen?
Well, the core connection, as the sources reveal, it's rooted right in the Breguet family itself. So while Abraham Louis Breguet was revolutionizing horology back in the day, a much later descendant, Louis Breguet, born in 1880, so quite a bit later,
No.
he was becoming this formidable pioneer of aviation in France.
Here's where it gets really interesting. And its connection I frankly didn't fully appreciate until I went through your notes. Louis Breguet founded the Société d'Aviation Louis Breguet.
That's right, building and exporting planes globally.
He even played a pivotal role in founding Air France.
Yeah. He did. And crucially, he maintained strong ties with the Brown family, who had acquired the watchmaking company back in 1870.
Right.
So when Louis Breguet's aircraft manufacturing company needed precision timepieces for its pilots, well, it was only natural they'd turn to the Breguet watchmaking company.
It's almost like a predestined partnership woven into the family history.
Exactly. And this historical intertwining led directly to the birth of the iconic Type 20 and Type XX chronographs. In the early 1950s, the French Air Force, they put out these incredibly specific requirements for new chronograph wristwatches for its pilots.
What were they looking for?
They needed a black-dialed chronograph with a retour en vol or flyback function and a rotating bezel. Very specific list.
And for our listeners who might not be familiar, why was that flyback function so crucial for pilots back in the 50s? What did it actually let them do?
That's a really great question because it speaks directly to the demands of navigation at the time. You see, a flyback function lets a pilot stop, reset, and restart the chronograph with just a single push of a button.
Instead of the usual 3 pushes.
Exactly. Stop, reset, start. That takes time. For a pilot needing to quickly time consecutive legs of a flight plan, or maybe adjust for wind drift on the fly, that instantaneous reset was, well, it was an absolute game changer.
Okay, I see.
It eliminated precious seconds and really simplified complex timing operations right there in the cockpit.
Fascinating. So this specific set of requirements led to a code name, Type 20 for the military watches, and Type XX for the civilian versions.
Correct.
And lots of companies competed, right? Dodane, Auricos, Patek Dassault, Erain, Vixa.
A whole list of contenders. But of course, Breguet's prototypes were approved in 1953.
And that led to a big order from the French Air Force.
A very significant order, 1,100 military Type 20 watches, delivered between 1955 and 1959.
Wow.
And this truly marked the beginning of a legendary line. We've seen 4 generations of the Type XX produced over the years since then.
So now for this 250th anniversary, Breguet isn't just sort of looking back at the original Type XX.
No, they're drawing inspiration from multiple facets of this really rich history. What truly stands out, I think, is how the new Type XX Chronograph 2075 models pay tribute to the very rare solid gold prototypes from 1955.
Prototypes.
Yes, there's a direct link to a significant piece that's now actually housed in the Breguet Museum.
Incredible. But there's another layer of tribute here that really caught my eye in the sources. These watches also honor the aviation pioneer, Louis Breguet himself, of course, but also this daring aviator duo, Dieudonné Coste and Maurice Bellonte.
Ah, yes, the Paris to New York flight.
Exactly. The monumental feat of being the first to fly nonstop from Paris to New York covered the distance in just over 37 hours, September 1st and 2nd, 1930.
And they did it aboard a Breguet 19TR Superbidden, a specially modified aircraft.
Which is just amazing, especially coming, just a few years after Charles Lindbergh's solo flight the other way, New York to Paris in 27. Imagine flying for 37 hours over the Atlantic in 1930.
It really does put our modern understanding of travel into perspective, doesn't it? So, to celebrate these legacies, Breguet has released 2 new watches. Both are deep adaptations of the 4th-generation pilot's chronograph introduced just last year in 2023.
Right, I remember those, the 42mm automatics.
Exactly. But these new 2075 models, they represent a really significant return to historical proportions. They're drastically reduced, slimmed down, streamlined.
And that means a lot for how they feel on your wrist, right? Which
Yeah.
is so important for watch enthusiasts.
Absolutely crucial.
The case, it keeps that classic 1950s civilian Type XX look. You've got the bidirectional 12-hour bezel, those distinctive short, slightly twisted lugs.
The key elements are there.
But the big news is the size. They measure only 38.3 millimeters in diameter.
Exactly like the original vintage watches.
Spot on. And thanks to a new hand wound movement we'll get to, that the thickness is reduced to a very wearable 13.2 millimeters, down from 14.1 on the automatics.
And the cases themselves, they're meticulously crafted from 18K Breguet Gold. That's the alloy enriched with silver, copper, and palladium. Features a beautiful satin finish, some polished accents.
Nice contrast.
Yeah. They have a screwed case back with a sapphire crystal, a flat crown, and they're water resistant to 50 meters. The attention to detail really ensures they are compact, retro-styled, and, as you noted, incredibly comfortable on the wrist.
Okay, now let's talk about the faces of these watches, the dials.
Yeah.
You, the listener, you have 2 distinct options presented in the sources. The first one, it's a special non-limited model, comes with a classic matte black dial.
It's what you might expect, maybe, but it looks fantastic.
It really does.
This black dial is made of anodized aluminum. And here's another one of those beautiful, subtle nods to Louis Breguet that the sources highlight.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
He pioneered the use of duralumin, that's an alloy containing 95% aluminum in his aircraft construction.
Oh, way.
Yes, and you can actually find a discrete AL mention for aluminum down between 7 and 8 o'clock on the dial.
That's incredible. Such a cool detail.
Isn't it? This version features that classic Big Eye bicompax layout, oversized 15-minute counter at 3 o'clock, syringe-shaped 18K gold hands, and a pear-shaped luminous minute hand.
And the loom.
The luminous Arabic numerals are in beige SLN, that's super luminova, high-performance stuff, great legibility in low light, and the only branding is a very subtle applied gold Breguet logo, very clean.
That detail about the aluminum. It's more than just a material choice, isn't it? It feels like it elevates the watch from just a timepiece to like a wearable piece of history.
Yeah.
Shows how deeply integrated that aviation legacy really is.
Absolutely. It transforms what could be just a functional element into a direct, tangible reference to the brand's pioneering past in flight. It's beautifully done.
Okay, now the second version. This one's limited to just 250 individually numbered pieces. And it's much more surprising. It doesn't directly draw from a specific past model in the same way.
Oh, it's quite different.
This one features a solid 925 silver dial, vertically brushed, gives it this stunning silver tone surface. It's a bold, almost unprecedented layout for a pilot's chronograph, and frankly, it looks amazing.
It really does. On this silver dial, you'll find an AG 925 mention indicating the silver material naturally. It features applied baton markers and Arabic numerals, a tachymeter scale on the periphery.
Useful for speed calculations.
Exactly. A precision seconds track and oversized gold pencil hands, plus a blued steel central seconds hand. All loomed, of course.
And the subdial.
This version has a 30-minute counter, unlike the 15-minute on the black dial. And all the tracks and markings are presented in this really striking blue. It's a fresh, maybe more modern interpretation, but it still feels completely rooted in the brand's DNA.
Very cool contrast. Now, what truly brings these watches to life, and what you can actually see through the sapphire case back, is the new in-house caliber.
Right, the engine.
These are manually wound movements. Caliber 7279 for the black edition with its 15-minute counter, and caliber 7278 for the silver model with its 30-minute counter.
And these movements, they're based on Breguet's modern automatic caliber 728, the one introduced in 2023.
Okay, so they share some architecture.
They do. They retain that modern architecture. They boast a high frequency of 5 hertzes or 36,000 vibrations per hour.
Which allows for greater precision.
Precisely. Along with a silicon hairspring, silicon escape wheel, and silicon pallet lever horns. Very modern materials, reducing friction and magnetism issues.
And the chronograph mechanism.
As you'd absolutely expect from a Type XX, they feature a column wheel for smooth actuation, the essential flyback function we discussed, and a vertical clutch for a clean start to the chronograph seconds hand, no jump.
Nice. And the power reserve.
It's a robust 60 hours for both movements, from a single barrel. And for this special anniversary, Breguet has truly gone the extra mile with the finishing. The movements themselves are actually gilded in Breguet Gold.
Gilded, wow.
Yes. These are large movements, 32 millimeters, so they beautifully fill the case back, and Breguet has made exquisite use of the upper bridge. There's a hand-engraved decoration that is truly a work of art.
What does it depict?
It shows the Breguet 19 aircraft in full flight. It's accompanied by the precise route taken by Costes and Bellante in 1930.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, with frosted finishing for the European and North American land masses, contrasting against the smooth Atlantic Ocean. Just beautiful detail.
And the rest of the movement.
Meticulously finished. You've got snailing, beveling, circular graining, and even the column wheel is treated in black DLC.
PLC.
Diamond-like carbon. It gives it incredible hardness and durability, plus that striking black aesthetic.
Yeah.
Really top-tier finishing throughout.
Okay, for those listeners wondering about, well, getting their hands on one of these, the black Breguet Type XX Chronograph 2075, it comes on a gradient black calfskin strap with an 18K Breguet Gold pin buckle. It's a special 250th anniversary edition, but crucially, it's not limited, which is, good news for accessibility, relatively speaking.
Relatively, yes. Its price is CHF $36,500, including taxes.
Okay. And the silver dial version?
The silver dial Breguet Type X Chronograph 2075, that comes with a gradient blue calfskin strap, also with the 18K Breguet Gold pin buckle. This one is the more exclusive option.
Limited edition.
Limited to 250 individually numbered pieces. And its priced slightly higher at CHF $38,000, including taxes.
Got it. Wow, what an incredible journey through time and innovation this deep dive has been. From the very, very beginnings of modern horology with Abraham Louis, all the way to the pioneering days of flight with Louis Breguet.
It's quite a story.
These anniversary watches, they truly embody this dual legacy, don't they? It's not just about a watch, it's about the ingenuity, the sheer daring, and the surprising interconnectedness of human innovation across centuries, across different disciplines.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, looking beyond just watches, it really highlights how brands can tell a truly compelling story by delving into their deepest roots. Even exploring routes that might seem, tangential at first glance.
Like the aviation link here.
Exactly. It reminds us that behind pretty much every iconic product, there's this rich tapestry of history, of people, of surprising connections, just waiting to be explored.
So, what does this all mean for you as you reflect on this deep dive? Maybe consider this provocative thought. How many of the everyday objects or even the cutting-edge innovations we kind of take for granted today have similarly intertwined multi-generational stories just waiting to be discovered? The stories connecting seemingly disparate fields. What other deep dives are out there just waiting for us to uncover their hidden narratives, much like the fascinating one you brought to us today with Breguet?